Okay, and welcome. So this video was taken at Thunderhill Raceway Park on Friday the 13th, 2012. I wanted to do a bit of a commentary for people at this time as opposed to just a straight up video of a couple of laps. Hopefully that makes it a little bit more interesting for you to watch. For those of you who haven't done a track day before, which I assume is pretty much all of you, you run in groups that are arranged by skill level and vehicle type. Typically these are similar. You don't have a really great driver in a slow car, though it's not that unusual to have a slower driver still learning how to get everything out of his very fast car, especially a Porsche or something like that that's a road car as well as something that's great on the track. So I'm in the intermediate group at the moment, and here we are. We're going to pre-grid, which is where we're going to wait to get onto the track while the group that was on before us is exiting. They want to keep the track day going, so we sort of line up things in sequence. I'm somewhere around the middle of the pack on this track with this group, so I'm going to line up appropriately. I'm going to be talking through each turn, but for most of them I'm driving faster than I can talk you through the turn itself, so I'm going to try and do the odd numbered turns on the first lap around and then fill in the even numbered turns on the second lap. So we're going to line up here, and then once we're ready to go, I'll give the signal and we'll start pulling out. When we do, we're going to run down the hot pits, and we're going to run down the front straightaway towards turn 1. Going to take it a little bit easy here, but still getting going pretty quick. This is 0 to about almost 100 miles an hour before the end of the first straightaway here. So we're going to keep to the far right as we go through here in case anyone is already on the track. That's not usually going to happen when you're pulling on for the first time, but you never want to assume, and so safety first. So for the first lap of the session, most people run at about 80% for the first half, sort of slowly working their way up towards their top speed and hardest braking somewhere around 3/4 of the way through the first lap, or maybe by the end of the first lap, just so that they ease into it a little bit. So we're going through turn 2 here, getting into turn 3. Turn 3 is an off-camber turn, which means that it slopes away from you. You can't see it that well here on the video, but it's a pretty serious slope coming up right now. I stay to the inside to keep from being thrown too far out by the G-forces. I'll stay in third gear here all the way through turn 5. So here's the end of turn 3, turn 4, which is really just the entrance into turn 5. Turn 5 is a blind left turn at the crest of this hill up here. It's pretty disconcerting not being able to see where the track is as you go over the hill at almost 50 miles an hour. As I go down the hill, it's off camber again, so I'm fighting to accelerate while struggling to keep the car from sliding too far to the outside. I'm going to line up for turn 6, which starts a very fast section of the track. There we are, that's the beginning of turn 6, and here's the apex. I'm pretty much flat out from now through turn 7, which is really just a slight bend coming up ahead here. Stay on the accelerator, try and get as close as you can to the middle there. This is turn 8, which I'll talk about later, which is going to lead into turn 9. Now, I struggled with turn 9 most of the day. In watching my laps again today, I would often catch up to people in turns turn through 8, only to see them pull away again in turn 9. Turn 9 is another blind apex over a hill where the track keeps turning over to the left. I never did get it right, always slowing down too much and rarely taking advantage of the whole track. The downhill here turn into turn 10 helped me recover my speed, and my ability to brake deep into turn 10 often let me catch up to other cars. Here we are breaking into turn 10 now, going from about 90 miles an hour down to about 35 or 40. So turn 10, I'm going to stay in third into turn 11 here. Turn 11 is another turn I rarely got right during the day. It's a really slow turn. I always took too much speed into it. Probably should have been going more like 30 miles an hour, and I usually hit closer to 40 or 45. So through the S's, through turn 11, 12, down the back straightaway up to third and fourth gear, I'm heading down, and most laps there, I'm passing that Porsche there. Get to about fifth gear by here, where that overpass is, about 95 miles per hour. Then I'd have to start braking hard, get all the way down to about 20 miles an hour for turn 14, hit the apex there. That leads around to turn 15, which is really just a way to float, hit that apex, and then that lines you up for the front straightaway. Floored here, fourth gear, probably hitting fifth gear right around now. I'm going to go into probably about 95, 100 miles an hour here, maybe 110. if I'm doing well. And now we're back into a different lap. As you can see, there's another car in front of me here. Exiting turn 1, I'm going to go into turn 2. I'm still going pretty fast here, but I've got to brake pretty hard, get down from about 100 miles an hour to about 65. I stay in 4th gear because it's smoother than having to shift from 3rd to 4th at the end of this long bend to accelerate into turn 3. Once I hit that apex, that cone right there, I straighten out and start to accelerate into turn 3. Once I straighten out, I lift for a moment and then brake pretty hard to come back down turn 3 into turn 4. Turn 4 is really just, as I said, an entrance to turn 5, so I'll lift and then accelerate again, now back hard. I'm going to get to the top of 3rd gear here when I get to the top of this, which is again about 50 miles an hour. We're going to over the crest there, we're going to go around, we're going to accelerate, try and get into 4th gear for turn 6, which is coming up. Turn 6 is really the lead into the back straight, so there's the entrance, and there's the apex, and now we're floored again. I think this guy's going to let me pass him. Yeah, this is a great passing zone. A lot of passing happens here. So we're going back through turn 7, and pretty much flat out here. We're going to slow down a little bit. Again, we're going to go into turn 9 here, which, as I said, I rarely got right. I started braking way too early. You can see that I'm not on the dark part of the track, which is where the tire marks are, which is where most people drive. I just never quite got that right, but we're down here. Again, flat out, and with that hill, I'm going to get up to the top of the 4th gear, maybe even into 5th, and then hard on the brakes down to about 30 miles an hour to go around here in 3rd gear, back up to the very top of 3rd gear here, and then back hard on the brakes down to 2nd gear, around the turn, into the S's. Again, one I never got right to straighten these S's out. That was actually pretty good. We're back in 4th gear now, and floored all the way through here in the back straightaway.